It's also important to be able to look back and see, okay, what could have been done differently and how do we make changes so that something like this doesn't happen in the future. A lot of attention has been paid over the last 20 years to trying to secure what's referred to as hard targets. Targets that are like the World Trade Center, like the Pentagon, like the Capitol. Targets that are obvious, symbolic. Any kind of national landmark is going to be a target for an attack because it's going to get more attention and be more impactful and stick with people's minds to a greater extent. We're better at addressing hard targets, much more so than 20 years ago. In light of the attack on the U.S. Capitol, maybe that needs to be rethought a little bit. But be that as it may, the one thing that we don't have a good handle on, the one thing that we haven't quite figured out, soft targets. Targets that are not as clearly identifiable, ones that don't stick out, ones that you wouldn't think of. Places with a lot of people in them, other public areas like malls, sports gatherings, concerts, train stations, other places where people would congregate in the same space would be attractive to hit, infinitely greater than the number of hard targets. We're not quite as good at trying to secure soft targets. It's a balancing act. There's not enough resources, there's not enough ability to try to secure all these soft targets. And even if you could do that, would you want to? Do you want to have security at every single point around every single possible soft target? Imagine what that would entail, what that would look like, what that would mean. This is where you get into the push and pull between we want to secure different potential targets, but we also want to not live in a police state where basically everything is completely locked down. Everybody's actions at every single moment are scrutinized and can't go anywhere to do anything. You can see the reaction many people would have to it when you look at the backlash to the places closing and lockdowns over the course of the last year and a half with the coronavirus pandemic. That's what the reaction would be like. So you can get an indication and see what it would be like if we over-secured soft targets, how well that would be taken. And so there's the question of how much do we want to restrict people's liberties. So we haven't done as good a job with soft targets. That is a ongoing issue of concern.